So, I don't normally stream today, but I had a cancellation on my schedule, and I've been really enjoying my time with Kerbal Space Program recently. So I was like, you know what? Let's just play a little bit more Kerbal today in that time slot, and we'll have some fun. Hey, Prime Theon, welcome. So, last stream, we had done a manned mission to Magnus with 1 failure and 1 success, which was, it was okay. We lost a Kerbal splatting into Magnus, which was unfortunate because Valentina was my finest pilot, but Jedrod, I think, was it? I think Jedrod is our new pilot, but what we're going to do right now, because I've been neglecting doing this, is we're finally going to put some satellites in orbit to facilitate communication with unmanned probes and signal to other bodies and stuff like that. So we are going to put, I'm going to start with 3, and we might end up doing 5 around Kerbin. I've never done this all at once before, and that's what we're going to try today. We're going to try to put the first group of 3 satellite communication satellites in geostationary orbit around Kerbin, all with 1 launch. So this may work, it might not, but we will see. So what we need to do is start with we're going to start with the hexagonal probe core here, and let's just raise it up so that, because I know I'm going to need room. It's not going to be a wide rocket, but it will end up being a tall rocket. And for this to work, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to use the relay antennas because they snap on like this. They don't really snap on onto the sides, but these do snap onto the sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a bunch. I'm going to use each one of the satellites is going to have like a quad pair of these bad boys right here, the high gain antennas. And these do have short-range dual-purpose communication antenna that can handle either direct communication or short-range relays, yeah. So it can act as a relay. Hey, Ben, RulerWaves 2 is up to 1.4 with lots of bug fixes, and Spain is a playable nation. Oh, nice! Thanks for letting me know, because I was going to check that the other day, but then it slipped my mind. But thanks for reminding me. I appreciate that. All right, so these aren't going to be too terribly complicated. All it's going to need is one small fuel tank, 1 small engine, and let's see, we need a battery. That's probably way more than it needs in terms of its battery usage, and panels. There we go. And then when it's deployed, it'll look like that. Okay. So, let's retract.
We love you.
Shut up, baby, I know it.
Sathor, good to see you, bud. Thanks for the resub. So that's 1 satellite right there, and unfortunately, I don't think that, because it's got an actual control pod attached to it, I don't think I can make this a sub-assembly. No, it won't. The selected part is not attachable. Okay, so we're gonna have to do this manually then. But I don't know, this is an easy build, so we have to just continue on. Now I'm gonna need a small decoupler, and then we just need to build it backwards. So we'll go battery, and then another probe core, and then a fuel tank. No, that's the wrong one. Then a baby fuel tank, and then a baby engine, and then another decoupler. Simple as can be. I say simple as can be, but this is really not. Considering I'm trying to launch 3 satellites all at once, it's not going to be that simple. Then we're going to need the battery, and then another probe core. That'll be the last one. I'm not at all comfortable doing all 5 that I want in one go. So probe core, then engine, or then fuel tank, engine, and then don't forget the decoupler, because that's what I did on one of my rockets before. There we go. Hello, Waldo. Now it needs its communication diddles. And I might need to stagger these so they don't bump into each other. Actually, I think that'll be okay. Just like that. That doesn't look like it's clipping. And if these, when they will go straight off. CubeSats? Yeah, they're not CubeSats, but they're like quadrilateral sats. Something along those lines. This should work. All right, solar panels for each one. Flip them around so they're facing up. If I can hit the right button. There we go. Do the same thing here. Because this is basically going to be a small communications network around Kerbin. Hey, Tan Guy, good to see you again. All right, now I'm going to need a fairing. This should be pretty simple in terms of geometry here. Just want to make sure it doesn't intersect at all. Yeah, that's fine. So there's the CubeSat network. And in terms of getting it, I mean, these are pushing so little weight that I'm going to have a lot of maneuverability with them once I get them into space. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to give this one big fuel tank. And a swivel engine, because that'll give me some gimbal. Then I'm going to need a decoupler. And then I might be able to do this with one kickback. It's not exactly a very expensive rocket, so if it fails, it's not the end of the world. More bombs. And it's only a bomb if it fails. What are we building? We're going to be putting in a small communications network around Kerbin, and I'm trying to do it all in one go. That's 3 satellites in the fairing there. I could probably do a thrust limit on this down a little. Well, no, I'm not going to bother doing that. Playing some Kingmaker with mods and Enhanced Edition equals much fun. Say, Thor, how is that game? Because I actually own it, but I've never played it. What a large dongle. Yes, it is a very large dongle. Let's see here. Now we're going to need a couple fins for stability. Probably just do some basic winglets here. I'll do 4 of them. And then just want to make sure that this is stable before we launch it. So we'll grab it like that. And then we just got to make sure the staging is correct. So kick back, and these will go at the same time. You can simplify these by turning on the engines and the decouplers at the same time. That gets rid of the fairing. And this is not right. This is backwards. So this one needs to go first, because that's the one at the top. And then this one. So that's the top one, middle one, bottom one. And those are the engines on those little guys. Good story, a lot of content, and the adaptation of Pathfinder rules are very nice. Only game you can play an Alchemist in, too. Well, that does sound fun. All right, I think that, I mean, it's not a very expensive rocket, 25,000 curb ducats. And theoretically, it should be able to get into space without too much issue. I think we have enough Delta V. So this is going to be the... Caliban very specifically asked me to name the satellite missions around Kerbin after him. So this is going to be the... Yeah, we'll call it Caliban 1. There we go. And we're going to give this a go. Simple as can be. Very simple rocket. I don't know if we have all the Delta V we'll need to make this work, but I think that the tiny little fuel tanks on the actual satellites should be able to go make it work. It looks like a missile. Well, I mean, technically it is. All right, SAS. And make sure that I want my second stage already thrusted up before we go to about 2/3. There we go. The CubeSat network continues. Can the first deep space probe be the big iron? I think it could. I think we could make that work. Stable. See, I could have put a thrust limiter on the kickback here to probably make it a little bit more efficient, but it's not bad. It is kind of heeling off in the wrong direction right now, and we need to... Yeah, it's going a little too fast. We need to start our gravity turn. Oh, yeah. Yeah, too fast. A thrust limiter would have been a great idea on this. We gotta use that immense thrust to aid in the gravity turn here. Yeah, because look at that surface speed. We need to take advantage of that. Oh, God. Little bit of a procession there. Yeah, too fast. Way too fast. Way too fast. And we're about to cut out. Alright, so we're not going to use a lot of thrust right here because we're going through a pretty thick part of the atmosphere still. What did that get us up to? Oh, wow. Yeah, that was enough thrust to get us into suborbital trajectory. There we go. Holy crap, yeah, I'm glad I just kind of went for the gravity turn there. That leaves this entire fuel tank... Oh, you know what we could do now? Maybe wait till we're a little bit further out of the atmosphere, and then we'll get rid of the fairing, because that's a little heavy. Not even using MechJeb? Nope, we're, no mods at all. This is just the new DLC with no mods. Alright, so we're going to get rid of that, because that's a couple tons. I don't even know how much that weighed, but it's got some weight on it. Yeah, that definitely would not have been a very aerodynamic shape, methinks. What's the mission today? Right now, we're putting a small communication satellite network up. So, in theory, we should be able to get these are three separate satellites in equal position around Kerbin without too much issue. Although, does this maneuver node have the right information? Yes, this is the information I wanted right here. Was the orbital period. That makes this next coming maneuver a lot easier. The base game adds the Delta V indicators to the base game, that removes the need for a lot of the mods. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that was in mods before is now just base game. Like, information is readily available. All right, we're gonna turn that engine all the way up. Start pointing in the right direction. Actually, this is nice and efficient up here, so we should be good. How much Delta V is on this? 1,700 meters per second? That's enough. Yeah, I think I should be good. Maybe. This might, actually, now that I think about this, this stage might not have enough Delta V to do what I want to do, because I'm going to need another burn. Geostationary? Yeah. That's the idea. I'm going to have to look up the exact number, because I don't remember what that is, unless I can find it somewhere on here. I don't know if that's actually in the game. I'm going to have to look it up online. Alright, go ahead and burn right here. Yeah, this is okay. So I'm gonna need I might need more fuel. Although each of these satellites has a engine, so I might be able to make it work. I might be. Oh God, look at that bounce. Can you slide your webcam to the right so it doesn't block the game's UI? That might be slightly problematic because my how will these satellites be able to communicate in terms of the HW Kerbin system? Not sure what you mean exactly. These are just there to be little relays, and they'll do the trick. I'll put bigger, more important satellites up later, but these are just like geostationary, short-range kind of things. Because hang on, I'll show you. If I might be able to scrooch over a little. Let me grab my camera. But there's crap. You can see the edge of my of some crap there. Where could I go? Where could I go? I could come up here. That might get in the way of some staging later, some staging stuff, but I can get out of the way, and then we could do is we can turn that off. And it's a little wonky, but it's out of the way. Mirror and put it. Oh yeah, I can mirror it and put it in the other corner. Here, chat box. I don't like floating head. Chat box? No, not chat box. Video capture device. Transform. Flip horizontal. And then scrooch me down into the diddly. Is that better, guys? Is that better? That way you guys can see what's going on a little bit. Are we cool with that? I want to make sure you guys can see what you want to see. A-okay? Thanks. All right, looks good. Looking good? Yeah? Okay, nice. All right, oh, by the way, did you guys see that rocket bouncing? There's pretty good amount of thrust on this thing. I don't need a lot of delta V to make these work, and each of those little guys has a nice little fuel tank on it with a good amount of delta V. I don't exactly remember exactly. Oh, actually, we're just about there in terms of stable orbit. So I want to get right on the apoapsis before I burn. And I like that you got the apoapsis and the periapsis over here. These indicators means I could burn from over here and still have a good view of what's going on. So what we'll do is we'll just theoretically what I want to do here. Let's make sure it's stable, and then we're gonna have to check some information. Make it nice and circular. All right, so will the tracking station give me the information I want? What are we gonna do after getting these relays down? I might end up building a base on one of our moons here. You can see I've already put landers on the moon in Minmus, and I'd like to set up like a proper science base. But I was thinking would be a good way to do that would be to send over a lot of the equipment in an unmanned probe. And then I could send over the actual kerbins in a much less complicated, much simpler, safer design, and just do 2 landings instead of trying to throw everything together into one. But to make sure that I don't lose communications and crash, need a satellite network here, and then theoretically I'd want to put communication satellites around Minmus and the moon. I'm pretty sure you can get a geostationary orbit around the moon. I'm not 100% positive if you can get a geostationary orbit around Minmus. Its gravitational field might not be strong enough to hold a geostationary orbit, but I'll have to double check on those numbers. Okay, can I get actual, like, information about the planet? Kerbin. So that's some information. Kerbin. Atmospheric characteristics. Area mass. Escape velocity. Rotational period. Rotational period is important information for what I want now. Kerbin physics. I need to know the right height to get to. It's like 2 million kilometers or something like that. You can't get one on Minmus for sure. I remember that from Matt Lone video. Okay. Would be outside its sphere of influence. That's what I was thinking. Okay, so I got to look this up online. KSB Kerbin geostationary orbit. I need to know the correct height. I think it's like 2.8 million or something like that. Oh, I think I had it right there. 2863. So we need to go to Caliban 1, and we need to burn to 2863. How much fuel's left on this? 500 meters per second? That's actually pretty good. Oh, I am way past. Oh, I didn't realize that much time had passed. Okay. All right, so we can just warp over to the apoapsis here, basically. Whip! Give myself a little bit of time because I need to roll this thing around. And it's a little on the fat side right now. Because all it's, in terms of reaction wheels, all it's got is, it doesn't have any, what's they called? These things, the RCS engines. And the only reaction wheels are the tiny ones inside those things. I'm pretty sure it has reaction wheels. I'll give it a little bit of juice so I can control it this way. Oh, yeah, it's got a little bounce in it, don't it? Oh, wisdom actually might not be too bad. Let's see, we need to get to 2.8 something. Oh, we're definitely gonna run out. Alright, almost got it, but let's try it like this. Decouple. And we're still flying half a ship. I might have to retry this with more Delta V. And then what we'd want to do is activate this engine. Well, let's make sure it's on nothing. Because we'd want to push this whole thing up there. Gives me 400 Delta V. Is that going to be enough? Because this is going to need a little bit of... This is going to need a little bit of juice left in it, too. It's 2 point... As long as there's enough juice left in this, once I've done the, once I do this maneuver, we're fine. It might be enough. Might be enough. I need to get to 2863. Lower that. 2863 is what we're looking for. You want to adjust the small 28. Two, 8, 3, 4, 5, 2, 8, 6. Oh, 2863. Ow. Oh, so yeah, we should deploy the solar panels on these so we don't run out of juice. At least a couple of them. I mean, there are a lot of batteries on this, but we'll go ahead. These aren't going to get in the way at all, so we'll go ahead and deploy them all. Is there a button for... There's got to be a button for doing this, right? Doing them all at once. Probably have enough juice for a while. Yeah. Should be safe, though. Okay, we need one more burn. One more small burn. And we'll be good to go. I was watching the stream and you forgot to plug in the laptop and it shut down. Oh, man. Okay, so now what we need to do is zoom out to here. Warp over this way. And what we need to do is we need to burn in our apoapsis, and we need to get an orbital period of 4 hours. So we're basically doing a standard Hammond transfer window here. And then we're going to change our orbital period to be 4 hours. And then every time we hit our geostationary position, we drop a satellite. And then we should be good. Deploy the antenna before we're too far away. Ah, we should be fine. Yeah, it's we got perfect signal from here with just the probe core. I mean, I can't. No harm in doing that though. Extend antenna. This is gonna be the first one out, so we'll do that. And I'm not 100% positive how the information transfer works in this game, but it should be perfectly fine. In terms of stacking, like, signal strength with these, I'm pretty sure they stack. Still a minute away. People out here really learned rocket science faster and easier than a 4-year degree in rocket physics. KSP god tier game. I love KSP. I didn't know jack shit about rocket science before playing this game. Now I know slightly more than rocket science. Remember the order of decoupling. I might end up decoupling them manually just to make sure that I didn't screw anything up. Thought you get ducats from watching? You do. You do get ducats from watching. If you type !ducats, you'll see how many. And then you could use those for queuing up sound effects and stuff. Doom. That's one of the favorite ones. Doom. This doesn't have to be perfect, but I should try to get this as close as possible. So let's start thrusting up here. And what I'm looking for is an orbital period of 4 hours. And if I run out of fuel doing this, this is not going to work. And I think this might not end up working. What if we, oh God, so we're at 3, yeah, we're at 3 hours. We're gonna need to do this with more fuel. Yeah, we're not gonna have enough delta V to make this work. I'm gonna need to strap some boosters onto that thing. Unfortunate. There's just not enough delta V to make this thing work. All right, let's go back to the Space Center. We'll abandon this. We'll have to abandon that because it's just not gonna work. Me want to retract the stuff before decoupling if the ejection force is 100%. Not a bad idea. So let's open that back up. The Caliban 1 ship. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now.
Pretty good. It just didn't have enough delta V to do what I needed to do. Now what I could do is throw on another stage. Or I could just try to make it a little more efficient. It had plenty of lifting. Had plenty of lift going. So what I could do is give it some more fuel on the second stage. So we got an 800 liter tank. We could throw on maybe 50% more fuel for that stage. Try it like that. That might work. Are you going to crash into the previous satellite system when you go into orbit, or are you safe? Oh, the odds of hitting the other satellites is next to nothing, but I could always get rid of them. Do I have asparagus staging as in fuel lines? Yes, I do have access to that. Hang on, let me show you something. Let's save this design. Let me open up the last. This is the Jacob 2. This is what I sent to Minmus. This was my manned lander that went to Minmus on our last stream. We got a lander in there. That's my descent engine. Well, it's combination descent ascent engine. All the science is up here, and all the science stuff doesn't need to come with us. So there's a decoupler. We just get rid of that. We got a beautiful asparagus staging set up on this bad boy. Let's go back to Caliban though. I was gonna play some games with a few of my friends back in a while. If you do Deep Space Pro, remember the Big Iron. I shall, Big Iron. Okay, so that might do the trick. I mean, because it was pretty inefficient getting into orbit. Man, that just made the thing taller too, didn't it? Because this thing had way more lift than was necessary, so we were pushing pretty hard through the atmosphere. So we added on a little bit of fuel there, and I'm gonna pull the thrust back on the kickback by 10%. And I'm gonna go ahead and save that. Let's see if we can do it like this. Okay. This is fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. Maybe everything's not fine. Okay, we loaded up the one with the bad staging. All right. We loaded up the one with the bad staging on it. Right. Always check your staging. Just gonna go ahead and recover that off the launch pad. There's your problem. Whip. All right, go ahead and save that. Boom. So much random crap in orbit, NASA has to remember where it is. Yeah, there's a lot of space junk out there. Try this again. And this is on... Alright, I think that's all fine. There we go. A little bit slower ascent this time. And hopefully that extra length we added on won't make it too flippity-floppity. We don't want that, because it was a little... Alright, it's already healing over to the other side, so we'll start correcting this way. Yeah, it's a little wibbly on the tip there. It's just a little bit... it's pretty wibbly. It's a very tall rocket. You don't want wibble in your rocket. We'll get to about 5,000 meters, and then we'll start doing our gravity turn. How do you get the SFX list? Exclamation point SFX, and it'll PM it to you on Twitch. All right. Heel over. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Harder. Almost. We could actually pull the thrust back on this even more if we needed to. Although I don't think it's as bad as it was last time. Well, there's the plasma again. We don't want that. All right, what are we at this time? 50-something? All right, we could turn this engine up a little bit. We don't want to push too hard though when we're still in the atmosphere. Autocorrect, yeah. A likely story. All right, let's just thrust up a little bit. Get that above 70. A little bit of extra wiggle room there. All right, what do we got on Delta V? 2,200 meters per second. That should be, I think that'll be enough this time. And we'll get rid of that. Gives me a little, because that does have weight to it. We're not in the atmosphere anymore, so aerodynamics don't matter. We do have that did give us a little bit more Delta V. Hey guys. Be calm in chat there. Remember, autocorrect remembers things you type a lot. That's far more than needed. Well, the last time it was not enough. Siri, how do I launch a rocket? All you need is a lot of explosives in a container. Last time it wasn't enough, so this time we're doing it with a little bit more. We almost had enough last time. Almost. And this is longer this time, so there might be a little bit more wiggle on the rocket when we thrust too. It might have a little bit more wiggle on its doodle. All right, let's go ahead and... Yeah, it's got a little precession there, but it's not too bad. We just want to make sure that the apoapsis stays in front of us. Actually overrunning it by... Oh, there we go. No, we had a... Oh, God. Oh, God. We are bobbling all over the diddly. We are doodling all over the bobble. All right, we're a little bit better now. Yeah, there's a little bit of wiggle in the rocket. This is fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. Let's try to get a little bit closer here. Or maybe if we use a little bit less thrust, it'll bounce around a little less. Yeah, that's a little better. That bounce is inefficient. A little bit less thrust, and we're a little bit safer there. Okay, we're getting to our normalized orbit here. Yeah, come on. Hey, oh, come back, friend. He's leaving me. Although we're almost there. Still technically colliding with the planet, but this is fine. Set thrust. And if we do this, because now we don't have to stop. We know that we need to get to 2863 on the apoapsis there, or the whichever one's the further one away. I never remember which is which. Is periapsis the farther one? Or is apoapsis the one that's farther out? Because I never remember. Now we can just thrust up. Apoapsis is the farther one, because periapsis is right here now. Actually, if we wiggle it down a little bit, we'll get that periapsis coming in towards us. Okay, let's slow this down. 2863 is what we want. Oh, shit. Okay, that's okay. Close enough. And, hey, we just about drained the tank on it. But I think with that, we'll have enough fuel to actually complete our second burn. Maybe? Maybe. I hope so. I hope so. Alright, so now let's warp over this way. Yeah, I took the sock. I forgot to take that off the list, but I took the sock one out of rotation. Didn't get a lot of use. Tim Curry is the best factoid. Are you talking about Red Alert 3? You're talking about I'm gonna go to the one place capitalism cannot reach me. Space. I love him. I had that as my my follower notification for the longest time. All right, now let's pump my doodle around this way, because we gotta face. Again, we're trying. We need to get the orbital period to 4 hours, and then everything is fine. All right, so let's burn a little bit this way. We're gonna run out of fuel pretty soon, but I might be able to make it work with the engine on this bad boy. I don't know. 3 hours, 3-1, 3-2. Well, we're getting there. Then as soon as this kicks off, all right, we'll stop. Now we'll decouple this. And we'll activate this. It's got 400 meters per second. Will that be able to do it? It might. We're getting there. We're 1/3. We're one third of 3 to 4 there. So I'm just really ripping through that fuel, and I'm gonna need it. I might be able. It's gotta be close again. Might as well just and stop, and then we'll just tick it up very slowly. Well, it might. Technically, that engine's on right now. We only used half the fuel in this thing to make it work. And after every single burn after this will be easier. And boom! Okay, orbital period 4 hours. All right. Okay, so extend. Make sure these are all extended. Because now we get rid of this one. Because this one's in its correct position now. Extend antenna. So now what we could do is go ahead and decouple this one. There we go. And all he has to do to stay in his orbit is do a burn by himself. Oh, turn that engine on. And normalize the orbit.
We love you.
Shut up, baby, I know it.
Almost to a second Twitch baby.
Thanks, Narcissus.
And I still haven't received a child support payment.
Oh, shit. I was not paying attention. Close enough? It'll have a little wobble on it, but that's pretty even. If how high you are on one side equals out how low you are on the other side, it'll wobble a little on its geostationary position, but it'll be in a good orbit. Actually, that's not bad. That's really close. I'm gonna go ahead and say good enough. And then what we could do is like face it towards Kerbin, so it looks like a freaking laser. Can I try multi-selecting these guys? Shift. Nope. Shift, right. Forget that. Shift pumps your engines up. So, no, you don't want to do that. So I just accidentally altered my orbit a little bit. So the orbit's off by a tad now. But no, this is fine. Good enough is more for a KSP. Yeah, good enough. Now we just got to go back to Caliban 1. And what we do... So now, wait, no, that's not the right one.
Everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here.
Exactly, it's fine, it's fine. Caliban 1 relay is technically the one I want. There we go. There we go. Let's go ahead and extend the rest of this stuff, because these are the next ones going. But we still have to wait a little while. Make sure these are deployed as well. And the burns will be easy. Every single time I drop one of these, the delta V would go up. So while this one had like 400 delta V left in it, I think, when we left it, dropping off the weight of the other satellites will probably bring it like up to 800 or so. So probably will be okay. So now, the first relay satellite has a orbital period of 6 hours. We have an orbital period of 4 hours. So by the time, and Kerbin has a rotational period of 6 hours. So by the time we get back to our apoapsis, the planet will have turned 120 degrees. So now all we do is drop back down and warp over here. Warp all the way back. And I think that's an old test I did. Might have to get rid of that one. Oh, no. That's the one we dropped off before that couldn't make it. Perfect. Now we drop this one. Decouple. And this little guy normalizes his orbit. All right, this time we'll pay more attention. 285 is about what we're looking for right now. Because we want to... 2863 is what we wanted. And whatever we're above on this, we want to be below on this. So do 3. That's good enough. Again, good enough. Why do you need 3 satellites? Anyway, line of sight. Line of sight. If the planet gets in the way, you can't communicate with stuff. So if there are 3 satellites in a triangle, you will always be able to see one, and they will always be able to bounce the signal around the planet to wherever it needs to be. I'll show you in a second, because we still got one more of these bad boys to do. So I gotta go back to the tracking station, and I should rename these too. Can I rename this? Oh, can I not rename them from here? Be a shame if I couldn't rename them. I gotta find the right one I need. I think it's this one. This is the one I need to fly now. Alright, we'll fly this one. Okay. Extend all the bits. I think you could set these up to go all at once, but I never remember to do it before I launch. Action groups. Yeah, now I got 400 meters per second left. That's plenty. Okay. Now what we want to do is warp around again to the apoapsis again. So we'll warp all the way around here. And that should give us an almost perfect triangle. And then we'll get rid of that one so it's not bugging us. Yeah, see? So we've got one of the relays there and one right there, and the other one will be right here. That's an almost perfect triangle. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. Like I said, it's not going to be glorious, but it'll be pretty good. And again, we'll try to normalize as best we can here. What I could do is I could go to each of these and I could try to wiggle them around so that they're a little closer. 286. That's pretty good. Maybe one little more pulse there. And then we can, if we want to, we could do this. I mean, they're not going to stay in this position, but we can still do that. Okay. Success! Nope, not settings. Tracking station. Now, we got to make sure that we get rid of the one we don't want. This is the old one, so we can we're pretty sure this is the failed one. We could deorbit it, or we could, do we want to deorbit it? I don't know if I don't think we have enough fuel to deorbit this one. So we'll just delete it. Hey, Epic Total War. So that's this one. We'll just terminate this one. Okay, so there. Now you can see it. That's the satellites. The 3. I really wish I could go in there and rename them. You might be able to make it work. But there's the 3 satellites in equatorial orbit. And they're all relatively geostationary. And you can see that they each have a communication line to each other, and they each communicate to the visible ground stations on Kerbin. So now, when I send out probes, they'll be able to relay the signal, even if I'm not in direct view of the Kerbal Space Center. But I need a bottle of water, so give me 1 second. I'll be right back. There we go. Sound effects not working? Or did I change? I may have changed them. There it is. I changed it to make it easier. Sorry, guys. Any mods? 0 mods. This is all vanilla. This is with the new DLC, but other than that, it's completely vanilla. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I love how that worked out. Oh, does anybody... Hang on, I want to show you guys something. Jacob 1, I think, is my failed lander. I forgot about Jacob 1. I don't think the video of this failure is not on YouTube yet. But as you can see, it landed mostly intact, and the Kerbin did survive the impact long enough to plant a flag. Unfortunately, I jumped, and then I wasn't paying much attention to what I was doing, and I used I think I used the time this one right here. I used the time acceleration while I was in the air, and she just type that into chat. Is that Gamerlord? Game Lord. Type that into chat, and it'll PM it to you on Twitch. So yeah, this one's sad. One of these days I'll revisit this site. It doesn't work on mobile. Well, it'll only well, I mean, it'll PM it to you on Twitch, so you have to navigate on your phone to wherever your PMs are. All right, back to the tracking station. All right, that's working. Now, if we wanted to make this even better, we would put one in a polar orbit as well. But I think that should be good. That should do us for now.